As people enter older age, the consequences of excess body fat extend far beyond physical mobility or metabolic health. Emerging research shows a strong link between obesity and cognitive decline. Older adults with higher levels of body fat, especially visceral fat around the abdomen, are at increased risk for memory problems, slower processing speed, reduced executive function, and even dementia. While the brain is often viewed separately from the rest of the body in terms of health management, it is in fact deeply influenced by the same metabolic and inflammatory processes that underlie obesity. This connection becomes more dangerous with age, when the brain is already more vulnerable to damage due to reduced blood flow, hormonal changes, and cumulative cellular stress. One of the most consistent findings in the study of aging and cognition is the role of inflammation in neurological decline. Obesity, particularly central obesity, is a potent driver of chronic low-grade inflammation. Fat tissue, especially visceral fat, is metabolically active and releases inflammatory cytokines like interleukin-6, IL-6, tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF-A, and C-reactive protein, CRP. These molecules can cross the blood-brain barrier or trigger systemic reactions that impact brain health, leading to microglial activation in the brain. When this brain-based immune system becomes chronically stimulated, it can impair synaptic communication, damage neurons, and hinder the brain's ability to clear toxic proteins such as beta-amyloid, a key feature of Alzheimer's disease. Obesity also contributes to insulin resistance, which has harmful effects on the brain. The brain relies heavily on glucose for energy, and insulin plays a crucial role in regulating glucose uptake and promoting neuronal growth and repair. When insulin signaling becomes impaired, as it often does in people with obesity and type 2 diabetes, neurons receive less energy and become less responsive. This has led some researchers to refer to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes, highlighting the overlap between metabolic dysfunction and cognitive degeneration. Older adults who are obese are more likely to show brain changes consistent with early dementia, such as reduced hippocampal volume, critical for memory formation, and decreased white matter integrity, which affects how different brain regions communicate. Beyond inflammation and insulin resistance, obesity also influences cerebral blood flow and vascular health. Excess weight raises the risk of hypertension, atherosclerosis, and heart disease, all of which reduce the efficiency of blood delivery to the brain. Chronic reductions in blood flow can lead to silent strokes, microbleeds, and white matter lesions, hallmarks of vascular dementia. In fact, vascular contributions to cognitive impairment are now recognized as a common overlap with neurodegenerative forms of dementia, particularly in individuals with obesity and metabolic syndrome. Sleep disturbances, which are more common in those with excess body fat, add another layer of risk. Obstructive sleep apnea, for example, is highly prevalent in people with obesity and significantly reduces oxygen flow to the brain during sleep. This chronic intermittent hypoxia disrupts sleep architecture, impairs memory consolidation, and increases the buildup of neurotoxic waste in the brain. Poor sleep itself is now understood as both a symptom and a driver of cognitive decline, and obesity magnifies this risk. Importantly, the impact of obesity on cognitive function is not merely a concern for extreme cases. Even moderate elevations in body fat during older age, especially when accompanied by poor metabolic health, can be associated with measurable declines in cognitive performance. Subtle changes in attention, language fluency, planning ability, or short-term memory may be early signs of this decline, and they often go unnoticed or are dismissed as normal aging. However, identifying and addressing these early shifts can help slow or potentially reverse cognitive impairment if the underlying metabolic stress is reduced. The good news is that lifestyle changes that improve body composition and metabolic health can also improve brain function. Regular physical activity, especially aerobic exercise, has been shown to increase hippocampal volume, enhance neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells, and improve executive function. Exercise increases levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a key molecule that supports cognitive resilience and synaptic plasticity. Weight loss, particularly when it reduces visceral fat, lowers systemic inflammation and improves insulin sensitivity, both of which benefit the brain. Nutritional strategies also support cognitive health. Diets rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, and polyphenol, such as those found in the Mediterranean or MIND, Mediterranean-Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay, diets, are linked to lower dementia risk. These diets focus on whole foods like leafy greens, berries, fish, nuts, olive oil, and legumes, which support vascular health and reduce inflammation. In contrast, ultra-processed foods high in added sugars, trans fats, and preservatives are associated with faster cognitive decline, likely due to their inflammatory and glycemic effects. Cognitive engagement and stress reduction should not be overlooked. Chronic stress and social isolation, both of which are more common in people with obesity, have been shown to accelerate cognitive aging. Engaging in mentally stimulating activities, maintaining strong social networks, and practicing mindfulness or other stress reduction techniques can protect against the cognitive effects of aging and amplify the benefits of physical health improvements. In summary, the relationship between obesity and cognitive decline in the elderly is both powerful and deeply underestimated. While weight gain in later life is often treated as a cosmetic or secondary issue, its effects on brain health are profound. Excess body fat acts as a metabolic stressor that accelerates neurodegeneration, reduces brain resilience, and raises the risk for multiple forms of dementia. But this process is not irreversible. By recognizing obesity as a modifiable risk factor for cognitive aging, older adults and caregivers can take meaningful steps to protect brain function and preserve quality of life. Addressing obesity is not just a path to a lighter body, it's a direct investment in a sharper, healthier mind.